So we're just going to be playing with a couple of the different settings. As you can see, my horizon is still crooked. This is right after I calibrated it. Now we're going to test out the digital zoom options. This is an 8x digital zoom. I'm not sure what people will really use this for. It seems better to just zoom in post. But you can change the amount of the digital zoom while still recording. Jumping back to 7 and 8. Back to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1x. So if you zoom in digitally, it looks like that. And if you zoom in post, it looks like that. So as you can see, it looks pretty much identical. No reason to really use the digital zoom, but it's an option. It's there. And as you can see, there's a little bit of gimbal drift. I have no hands on the controls, and it's still panning to the right. So, crooked horizon and a little bit of panning to the right. Might be able to solve this if I calibrate the compass, I suppose. It's almost not noticeable when you're at regular 1x, which is why I haven't noticed it yet, but it's definitely a thing. One of the other things you can do is you can adjust the color profiles and the white balance while still recording, which I don't know if I have a camera that allows you to do that. Most of the cameras that I have make you stop recording before you can fiddle with it. So you can certainly adjust that stuff while still recording. There's black and white, incandescent, and here's the log. And I highly recommend not shooting in log. As you can see in the shadows, life is not very good to log. You can even see the sensor pattern as well as a disgusting amount of noise. So just don't do it. Don't shoot in log. These are the different picture profiles that are built in. The one that I'm using decreases the saturation, it decreases the contrast, and it decreases the sharpness, which to my eye produces a better result than the ones that are built in. Now let's look at the 6K options. This is 6K scaled down on a 4K timeline. You can see some moire patterns in the bricks, but it seems like a pretty, there's my cameo. It seems like a pretty pleasant image. So 6K looks pretty nice, although it does add a little bit of moire. There's a little bit of wind on today's shoot, which you can see with the palm trees, but it's holding up okay. It's keeping its position pretty well, which is impressive. Now let's take a look at 4K. Most people are going to be wanting to look at 4K, so here we're going to check out what the 4K looks like. And this is 4K 60, which actually looks pretty good. You still do get a decent amount of moire on those bricks, and the trees in the background aren't as pleasant as I would hope. But everything in the foreground looks nice and clean. So maybe they're doing a little bit of line skipping to get that 4K signal out of there. But that's certainly acceptable. Once you spruce it up with a little bit of coloring and some film grades and stuff like that, you probably wouldn't notice the moire patterns that you see on the bricks nearly as much. That's a pretty good image. Don't see much in terms of ISO noise. Maybe the only complaint would be a little bit of pattern noise. from the moire or the compression. This is the same shot, 4K, looking over the city, and we're just gonna play with some of those digital zooms again to see if the zooms look any different when you're shooting in 4K versus when you're shooting in 6K. Again, I don't think this is a feature that anybody would actually really use, but it's there. Now you can really see on the roofs how that, I guess it's line skipping. The line skipping is making a ziggity-zag pattern when shooting in 4K. The horizon is still a little bit crooked up there. It's something that's easily fixed in post, but I think they might get that different on a future firmware update. Again, do not shoot in log. It's a terrible idea. 4K, 8K, whatever. You don't want to do it. Here's 4K at 48 frames a second. The image looks pretty much like it does with the 60p. You've got moire pattern on the bricks, but everything in the foreground, including the palm tree stumps, looks looks really good to my eye. The detail in the foreground of those palm fronds looks pretty pleasant. As you get farther in the background, you lose some of your texture a little bit. Here's 4K at 30 frames a second. Looks just like the 60 and the 48 to my eye. Now we're looking at high definition at 30 frames a second. And the high definition actually looks pretty good. If you want to shoot in HD, I don't think there's any problem with using this type of image. Certainly a little bit softer. Still get a little bit of that moire, but it doesn't look bad to me. And here it is with the high definition at 120 frames a second. I was most surprised by this. 120 frames a second in HD on a drone here, I think looks great. Looks really nice. Certainly usable if you're doing action sports or skiing, BMX. This is definitely a mode that I would use. But you can see how much it's cropped in when you're shooting at HD 120. But that is a totally usable shot. That's terrific. I think that's something that people should be talking about just a little bit more, because it's a good looking shot. Anyways, I'm gonna keep uploading some more. I'm gonna keep uploading some more videos like this. So, if you'd like to see more, just hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below on what you'd like to see. What your thoughts are in terms of the resolution and what the image looks like compared to the drones that you have now. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos. So make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll talk to you soon.